okayfm 101.7.
Honorable Dr. Clement Apaak, MP for Busa South, Deputy Rank in Education Committee of Parliament. Na no entry and come. Honorable Memoje.
Kwarum kuma mejo so me chie tiefo nyina so.
Tiefo nyina so ejo so na boko de.
Boko de yentumi nka se boko. Ase wa o hwe de yakoso o manyimu ya. Ebe de yentumi aka se boko. Eni anu mo omote ebe voter river ni voter lake. Wa nsu yi afa omuni omanyina mo japade.
okayfm 101.7.
Kwame, oni mi say de kosi no. Oko Makango yeji. True east, true west. Bia east, Bia west. Kwame, the number of communities affected, you know, anyakitwao is more than what we are privy to. Timeno mentiasie say Mampeni Yenina Kasa should declare state of emergency. While we are tasked to that he will not declare a state of emergency.
One more steady situation answer.
Come on, steady what? The optics are clear, the issues are there. We have seen what is going on. What is there to study? You see, I just don't understand who advises the president and his thinking processes. Some of these issues, you know, and this is a amount for a council. Is it not obvious that this is an emergency situation? You will be that. What is he going to lose by declaring a state of emergency?
Now, Obi Bebusa said, what difference does it make to declare a state of emergency?
Well, it makes a difference. Well, why should you declare a state of emergency? No. It then means that as a nation, as a people, no, we have all agreed to mobilize resources. And our bilateral and multilateral partners, when you declare a state of emergency, it then also gives them reason to move in to assist. Kwame na umpe we upeden. Una asema to manfo. Una untumi so ano. Declare state of emergency no more bet me aboy o ma be boy en so a.
So it will attract even foreign ayi.
Of course.
Okay.
That is the issue. Look at what is going on. It is pitiful. So we take the air course in for Adawma. You see the way the situation is and how the people have been reduced to puppets as a result of somebody's negligence. You see, what is the president waiting for? What is his wish? What is his desire?
Yen hwɛ na fe ye mo nyame mpaye na yen hunu senia enima besi akona ma memra nsɛmpo from where ene Daily Graphic, on the front page of Daily Graphic, na Thomas Musa, ye General Secretary of NAT, was the basic school education needs dedicated fund. Was say, ye basic school no. Somebody made the unkoma, minimum wedi unkoma. Say, was say, also the atu say, ye here base ye here fund, special fund, ye dedicated fund. Na mean quote was say, it has become absolutely critical to provide dedicated funding to supplement the provision of goods, services, capital expenditures solely for basic education in Ghana. This dedicated fund would have a direct impact on the supply of learning materials and the facilities such as textbooks and classroom blocks to engender healthy learning outcomes at our basic level. And here one, I feel Uber funding so. The basic education programs in Ghana are funded by the government through consolidated fund. The next major sources of funding are internally generated funds, IGF, with some inflows from development partners. and a portion of the petroleum revenue allocated to the annual budget funding amount. And we one funding no what church baby I need yes can free. Afei Osebu Akonta said in recent times, Mr. Musa said funding of basic education had been a sharp decline from 7% of gross domestic product GDP in 2012 to 3.8% in 2022, and that has resulted in some challenges, especially from the early childhood education subsector. Na Osabeka Sustainable Development Goal 4. Now, Mami Musa question we. Yes, which of is good. Asiano, see you TV for ye community watch here. Textbooks in your books on Betremuniwa, a dia omutimunye, a bit in Yase, a dino omutimun crab, you are yen cemetery move throw and qualad the form next row. Name dear not boss wakan. Say now, you know.
Kwame Medase. I don't know what kind of I'm saying, Menu comedy way dear. Ovidia okayfm FMBiano. Every year to Sir Ansana Thomas Musa. Any daily graphic, ebedi hunka hono. I never told you. A young common ye dear. Kwame Yen in say foundation. Aya Bibia. Aya paramount. Bibiano. Ashasiano.
okayfm.
And I was it Mishana. Eshemokina. Kwame I say we sit down. If your building is going to be strong, last long, Kwame is a foundation. No, it's the same with education. All the investments we are making in secondary education and tertiary education, tertiary the one time but secondary secondary the one pa you don't come out to say there are a lot of loopholes. Most of those monies are going to secondary education. But be as it may, in terms of budgetary allocation and the public posture of resources, no, secondary education, especially with the introduction of the current format of the free senior school policy. But how do you build a structure and a superstructure on a weak foundation? And that is the case that Thomas Musa is making. Well, if you go to any part of the world, if you ask anyone who knows a thing or two about pedagogy, teaching and learning, education, they will tell you that when you get the foundation right, basic education, as for secondary and tertiary, which is the structure and superstructure, that shouldn't be a problem. But we are doing the opposite. Most of our attention has gone to secondary education, to the neglect of basic education, and to the disadvantage of tertiary education. It doesn't even make common sense. Common sense. It doesn't make common sense simple. Say public basic education, I will say you're free. But because of the inadequate funding and the dwindling funding since 2017, parents are even paying more. I will for more, both directly and indirectly, for the awards to get basic education, whereas secondary education is free. Because capitation grant the Amika, and on a year, Sika, a crop into basic education to cater for the administration of the basic schools some teaching and learning items. Chalk, attendance register, and as for. Schools now, okay, you know. Say, Konyano, Ebubu, and I say, Gugua, na yate, capitation grant, maybe. Where they are my carpenter. Say, Uncle Sisi and Konyano. Say, Purubibu, and I say, Pumabua, na yatibia my carpenter. Say, Uncle. Say, schools need the crack na sefua. Maybe the sports, any cultural activities. Government has not been remitting capitation grants. And in fact, between 2022 and 2023, government owed capitation grants 41 million Ghana cedis.
Anamibo, say, yeah, a budget near appropriate in Parliament. See, I'm Fanko. Sikano, yani free consolidated fund, meboa.
The Parliament say,
na mo appropriate we are e di entina nko
anya finance minister
say bi ene ni ho
obi esu ta akupado say we are untouchable anya ono a otumi e sika medical cathedral but sika na ya manu tumi say o manu nko basic education capitation grant no enko. Even what we have approved, I was even going to talk about arrears.
Not me, Bajo.
They are approving
for the base of discourse, no, yeah, capitation grant, no, a coin basic school, no, a DNA, the other almost the same.
Kwame, the capitation grant, the open history, it was introduced in 2005. And it was meant to finance basic education. In this case, you know, Nanka cost elements are what a wufono etmi efano. On the basis of the capitation grant, and I get a teacher, no. Na abaina ajiafa. 81. Procurement of basic teaching and learning supplies, attendance registers. Chalk any markets, financing cultural activities, sports activities, maintenance, and to maintain the school structure itself, to maintain things like furniture. This is what the capitation grant is supposed to do.
Now, if I just say a bar, a consider district and now municipal, and now say a bar education directorate.
Sir, the capitation grant as originally is based on the number of students in the school. The last time I checked, it was 10 Ghana cedis per people per term. And you know, sir, you did a managed Finchima. Sir, basic school, and basic school in this sense, from KG to JHS3. And if the school has from KG to JHS3, let's say 300, then we would expect that each of those people would be entitled to 10 Ghana cedis paid by the government through the Ministry of Finance to Education to GES. It then gets to the regional level. It gets to the district level, and it is disbursed to the heads of the basic schools. That is the way it ought to be. It is over. Most basic school heads, because they have had to find monies to maintain and run the schools. While they are waiting for government to do the needful. And government has not been doing that. As we said, 8 terms, capitation grants have not been paid. Gallop schools, and they are just a few. And and look at me, a school with a population of 200 students, Kwame was giving only 500 Ghana cedis. 500.
Beba school 1 year 200 students,
Yeah, man, 500.
Are we serious assassination?
Any be said you, man.
500 off day.
Any one for your day, off your day.
And Konya Bubu, where ya basa, Bibia basa, 500 now. Okay,
so the point I'm making is that what is now happening is this. Ludwana Aboka, and they have also gone to take the services of carpenters, of masons, and as for. If you are down, but the other factor is that parents are now taking up all of this. If you almost been back on Timeka, and the Enquirano, of course, could not move coffee. Not teacher now announce so. Move by Mofa Chokum Row, move by Mofa Marketing Row, Munkonia say, move by Obianfa 55 cities. That is what is happening. If you notice that a lot more parents, even so, Nibikwana, they are struggling to do what they can so that they can send their awards to private schools. This is the reason. Because the public basic school system, no, it is collapsing.
Okay.
Is it the case? Is because public, Enkrofo Nkobi, MPs no Mama Nkobi, CEOs man Nkobi, one more at the helm of affairs, no, one man Nkobi. It won't problems. Wana.
Kwame, sabe no na ekese problems na na kano but the what of so problems na no orudia na oye me say me cause I didn't go to an international school
asa wo ko ayi jache
me jache ele I me start go na me call jache Anglican me wana madam for pa sibe now no Anglican na me wo ele nti me kukwasa sa ma uluma de me ko Anglican ana me no ya ko share P4 ni P5 na asifo if we could go to public basic schools and become who we are today, and we say that we are making progress as a people, we are now in the 21st century. How come that the same schools that produce you and I cannot produce people of our caliber today? Doesn't it tell you that progress now? I say, yeah, progress. No, we are rather deteriorating. And you see, Thomas Musa is right, because the challenges facing public basic education, Kwame, it is a lot. That is capitation grant on the other side. You remember that we have been talking about what they say textbooks. What about the new standard-based curriculum? You can watch them. And I train I see a jetu. Mo say more order new textbooks. 2019, since the new curriculum came into effect, Kwame, school baku kura eni Ghana ha ubetumi aka. Says school way there. Basic school textbooks based on the new curriculum, no. Omo ni nyina for all subjects. Not even a single school after all these years.
Hey.
And Kwame, do you know why?
No.
Government cannot pay. And for government can say they gave orders for 60% of the required books. Oman can say 100 or 60% of the required books to be produced. Even 60%, you know.
Honorable.
They have not been able to pay for the 60%. The printers and publishers are complaining.
Mami Musa question we. Now, ye didn't come away such a charitable discourse. Now ye the opinion you good to say the native for pay. Sa dedicated fund no. Wo fam nka ye dey ye ma parliament in passing rebi na fei ye nyina no se bia wo to ade bia 1% of it no education fund no ye make sure say be mrakete say whoever our finance minister of finance kobu.
Kwame, dedicated funds now not for us suggesting no. It was a sinunkunya, so that we can look at the best way. In principle, no, I agree with them, and I think the reason why Oma raises our issue is say, Oma ka, we are not seeing government being dedicated and serious about funding basic education. Nobody has said that we shouldn't fund secondary and tertiary. But must we do that at the expense of basic education, which is foundational? So Mijiri said that is where the thrust of the matter is. Just to give you the quick summary of what I was saying. 2022 capitation grant arrears, it was 45.4 million. 2023 request at GES MK for capitation grant, it was 61.1 million. The ideal, you know, if government was up and doing and was not neglecting basic education, in 2023, government should have given an amount of 106 million for capitation grant to cover 2022 arrears of 45 million, no? And the 2023 request of 61 million. Kwame, do you know how much government decided to allocate for capitation grant instead of 106 million? No? Do you know how much? Kwame, 11 million. Now, arrears 45 million a year. And look at the woman request of 61 million. Woman Yahafumpo. Out of 106 million, that should have been what government should have brought to Parliament for approval for capitation grant for 2023. No, only 11 million was approved. Elumpono Enko. Eddie Thomas Musa is right.
Hey,
and we are talking about textbooks, furniture deficit. Almost about 3 million students have no access to furniture.
3 million students
under trees. Yes. Africa Education Watch. I will send you the report. They even issued a communique, and I have a copy.
It
has been a perennial problem. Now, you know, say no, why necessary muti this idea omudia bay?
Sir, teacher unions, you know, are stakeholders.
Right.
It is once they have started, you know, they themselves can organize a public forum or a symposium on funding basic education. And as we can even look at broadening it to include all the tiers of education, because tertiary sector is also struggling. Secondary, also there was so what we need is a national conversation on funding education. But once they have raised the issue of basic education, and I agree, said that is foundational, no? They can get the ball rolling. Because when me say we could do anymore, if you chumne for you on money, Baumian money, I could for them because your mama and asthma packs, one make a sudden way huffy. Then I'm happy that this is coming from a teacher union. And so I would suggest that the teacher unions should get together with civil society organizations, say Africa Education Watch, you know, Institute of Educational Studies in ASEFO, to get the ball rolling so that it can be organic. Because we, the politicians, you know, once we take the lead, one group is bound to accuse the other group of doing this for political expediency. And no, I don't want to say, I dream pie in Iowa. Ukaya, oh, politics, NDC for. Meanwhile, our wars are also there. You push them forever.
Because
this is the future of Ghana. And yeah, NDC and yeah, NPP.
Because I say, Aquala in your table and transfer. Aqualano, dear, some one people in NDC on found. When your books are Aqualano, NDC and NPP, and Yana we are talking about national issues. Anambwa.
I mean, we know we are agreeing, but you also know the type of overtly politicized system you want we. Imagine, say, they are not a kind of Makoka. Look at what overtly sounds are, you're the best shaman. And that is the point I am making. It is when we know the issues are real and they are true and we ought to address them. Once it comes from a political opponent, that you are wiggle. So the point I'm making is that they say not an pijaba. And once they are in the theater and they are the teachers and they know the challenges that you and I have been talking about now.
Okay,
that's what Momu did at the time somewhere to draw. I asempa. Yina yensum. Na bebo yina. Kwame. Do you know?
Me too.
Sir, some of the other challenges facing basic school, capitation grant maka, lack of textbooks maka, inadequate furniture yaka. We now even have more schools under trees. We are experiencing more dropouts. Kwame, the other issues is that we were giving away free school uniforms. We're giving away free exercise books. We're giving away free sandals. Kwame, do you know that all of these interventions have been cancelled? And this is putting more pressure on the parents whose wards are in public basic schools. When was the last time you heard of the distribution of free uniforms, free exercise books, any free sandals? When was the last time you heard that? Meanwhile, we are giving free books, free textbooks, free exercise books, free uniforms, free sports attire to secondary school students, and we are neglecting their younger junior brothers in the basic school system.
Honorable Kai Pase. Honorable Kai say Sabre na ne ekosa itu no. Senka ye koye nim sei no. Wa mu di books ne back a classroom ho. Now bon say ya you book am your textbook near ye line by line. Near you pencil, near you pen, near you none fair.
Kwame na fair. Na ma school so ya kono.
Oh.
It made education attractive. And these are some of the small interventions that will ease the burden on both the teachers, the students, and the parents. Kwame, and yet, this government has stopped doing all of these things. So it's an issue of priorities. And that is why Nat is saying that, say the equal, say, and yet dedicated source of funding now. Kwame, indirectly, they are telling you that they have lost hope that government will do the needful. If not, they won't be calling for this.
Honorable.
Kwame.
Maminya akwana di enya savre ho be kan no pay.
Kwame ara ho no de ye wo mu dada o. Ara ho. Kwame, just mampeni dada your flag bearer. Just oba.
Okay.
Na mampeni akufado de ono de say he has said goodbye. Or say the challenges are there. He has admitted them. Is the next president who is going to come and fix them. Nti ono nkwa de he has bidded us goodbye.
Okay. Medasi anope.
Okay, FM 101.7.